So, it is somewhat of a mess. The life we find ourselves in is complicated, seems to be even more complicated now. I'm sitting here on a pew with blue tape on the back of it to mark where people can sit because of the COVID pandemic we are still struggling with. There's the issue of George Floyd's death. There's the issue of riot and unrest, a general feeling of discontent and pain. And then for those of us as Texans and those who live in Louisiana, it looks like we have a possibility of a thingy in the Gulf. We always know that brings anxiety in and of its own self. So yes, there are a lot of things that are in turmoil. If we go beyond our own country, there are plenty of other countries that are facing that same struggle and that same turmoil. I want to read a psalm. We were recently doing some Psalms Now devotions, and this one speaks so strongly to the situation we're in and gives a great reminder as to what we need to do. It's Psalm 46. Our great God is still our refuge and strength. He knows our problems and fears. Thus we have no business doubting him, even though the earth is convulsed in tragedy and its human masses threatened by ethnic hatred, disease, drugs, crime, or abuse. God continues to reign as ever wise, as almighty as ever. His eternal plan is not cancelled out by the whims of human leaders or the freakish accidents of nature. Nations will destroy each other, civilizations will perish. The earth itself may one day become a smoking cinder, but God will not leave us. He is forever our refuge and our strength. Just look around you, look at the pages of history. Refresh your flagging spirit with the reminder of his great feats through the ages. And you will again hear him speaking, relax, stop fretting, and remember that I am still your God. I still hold the reins of this world. God is here among us. He continues to be our refuge and our strength. The stained glass window over my shoulder here is Peter walking on water, and at this point he's actually starting to sink. We may feel that as individuals, we may feel that as a group, that things seem to be slipping away. But they are not, because Jesus is there, reaching out. Whether or not we take his hand is what will make all of that difference. It is so helpful in these times not to get rid of pain, not to get rid of frustration. We've got to deal with those things. But it's so helpful in these times to know that we hold Christ's hand as we experience these difficulties. Let's take a moment and pray. God, these emotions that stir within us and amongst us are emotions that you've given us. What we do with them, that's the big difference. We pray for those who are in pain. For those who grieve the loss of their loved ones. We pray for those who grieve the loss of livelihoods. All of these things, God, just go into a mix along with the general anxiety that we seem to feel. But you are greater. When we combine all of that together, you are greater than all of that. That's our strength. Help us to keep that as our focus point. That we would be compassionate to the world. Amen. Friends, a closing thought. You may not be able to control what happens in other places, but we can influence what's around us in the place that we live. The best thing that you can do today is to treat someone else the way you would want them to treat you. The best thing you can do tomorrow is to live Jesus' words. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Be intentional about that, especially in reaching out to strangers. God bless. Bye.